They met the dad.
Oh, they're in the attic. Oh, she's chatting. Yeah, they're in the attic.
They're chatting it up.
Yeah, so the italics is, we know they're chatting when it's italics, right?
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
wow. Okay.
Not a huge deal.
Yeah.
Mostly interested in the content here.
So basically, I think that that's kind of like what she kind of like the vibe she was giving off about like how she's different from everyone else, I guess, because Titus kind of thought that she was different from everyone, and I think that was kind of like the main thing that made her special, I guess, from everyone else, and it was finally like revealed here, I guess.
Like, what makes that significant? What is that?
I mean, it kind of, I think the way it makes her different, I think, is because everyone so far seems like they're addicted to the feed. And that's like, I didn't believe at first, like, you know, like the question about like, does technology control us or do we control technology? I thought it was that we controlled it until I was reading on about this stuff and like how when they got hacked, you know, their feeds weren't working and they were like so bored. And it kind of, the feed kind of takes over like their way of thinking. Like when they went to the mall or whatever and they were trying to like be unmarketable and they were like asking for things and then they're like, oh, I don't want it or whatever. And their feeds like weren't acting the same because of it.
Yeah.
And it's just like interesting because like you don't think about it, but when you do think about it and you think about how the feeds are interacting with them, you see that in a way it is kind of cool.
Well, I think that, well, my opinions always change on, like, our discussions in this fishbowl, so I might say something different another time, but I think that the technology we have now isn't capable of 100%, like, controlling us in the way that this feed does, because, like, feed is in their heads, I guess, and I read in the research that, like, essentially it's their brain, and so I think that,
You're talking about how we don't have the technology.
Yeah, well, I don't think that right now that's what this is, and so I think that leads into, you know, how the author is saying that technology is, like, gradually kind of deteriorating our, like, our knowledge and, like, I don't know. Yeah,
I definitely
I
think
think that's the main message here.
I definitely think that not only does the feed control them in the future, but now I think we have things that control us, and I think we do, and people always say, like, oh, I'm not addicted to Facebook, I'm not addicted to my phone, but I think, honestly...
Can you back that up with an example?
I was thinking actually, I was making connections by, I was noticing that a lot of people were taking down their Facebooks, and I was thinking, well, what if I took down mine? And you know how a lot of people take a lot of pictures nowadays, and like these people, they take these pictures, and if you don't think about it, they actually probably take them a lot of just for Facebook. Like you wouldn't be like showing your pictures to your friends, like you do this because like a lot of people, this is actually an obsession, and they take a lot of photos and make them all on Facebook.
Does the party happen if it doesn't end up on Facebook?
Like,
Does a tree fall in the woods and there's nobody around to hear it?
Does it make a
Sorry,
sound?
does it make a sound?
Yeah.
Does a tree fall? That's my George W. Bush moment. Does a tree make a sound when it falls in the woods if there's nobody around? Does a party count? Does a party exist if it doesn't?
What makes it, like, I don't know if this is an okay question to bring up because it's not really on track, but what, like, makes people want people to see them on Facebook, you know what I mean? Like, why do we want people to see certain pictures of us on Facebook?
Self-confidence.
I think
Yeah, but what is it
You
that
want people to say
gives us
something.
self-confidence?
It's the social.
When people comment, something like that. Oh,
Why?
cool.
I think it's this whole thing, like, that we have to create ourselves, and we can't just do it by, like, normal interactions. We have to have this whole, like, I think a lot of the ways people create themselves nowadays is through Facebook and is through what we show the world of ourselves. And like, people don't just put straight up pictures. They choose the best ones. They like, people Photoshop them. They do all this stuff. And it's like, that's kind of, it's I don't know. It's like how people create themselves and what they think.
It's like the easiest way to portray yourself to people that you don't actually know. So you can like kind of like mold your personality in a way based on what you put on.
I think that
And carefully word your statuses and carefully like choose which pictures you want to be your profile picture so you can show people.
I think that Facebook is kind of like killing the human personality, kind of. It's like, I mean, you can't really like, I mean, you talk to someone on chat, you just like see the words that they say, you go on their profile, you just see the pictures that they put up. You really have no sense of like how they are as a person, and then I'm going to admit that I make a lot of judgments on people by what I see on their Facebook profile, which is really a horrible adaptation to like.
No, but like,
horrible
like
Facebook is
adaptation.
almost like an advertisement for yourself.
Yeah, but like,
It's like a Burger King commercial, how they have like the good burger and you're like, oh, that looks so good. In reality,
like you'll get a person and you're like, oh, it looks so good. Juicy.
like, you know, like,
No, it's good.
I feel like that's like an example of how we can't control technology.
What do you guys think would be like necessarily? What do you think would be the limit to like? Some people argue that like Facebook doesn't control us yet, and I think we can all agree, or I don't know if we can all agree. Do you guys agree that the feed controls them?
Yeah, because like there's like a key part where like, okay, they lose the feed,
Yeah.
and then that time in the hospital is basically page after page after page of depression.
Yeah.
We all admit that. And then they get it back. They get it back, and it's
It's
literally
like,
like the
oh.
happiest
Yeah, they like
days of
it.
their life. It's
So
like,
good.
So
it's like-
what do you think is the turning point or the breaking point from then to go to like being in control to not being?
I don't think there's a certain.
What
I
causes
think,
it?
I don't think there's a certain like breaking point. Like, okay, we
I'm recording
control,
this
we
for
control, yeah,
like
we
to
don't.
put
I
on
think it's more
their
like
final
there's certain aspects
portfolio.
that we do control and certain that we don't. And I think technically
think
we
is
are
gonna be part
completely
of
control of
everything.
technology. Like technically, we own it, we use it. We're the ones that check it. We're the ones that sign up. Or, you know, but I think not technically. I don't know. Like I think we don't really control it fully. But
I think technology controls us at the point when we think it's average. Just think about, if you like really think about how cool technology is, and just like, Facebook is a site where we're able to talk to any person we want whenever they're online, no matter where they are on the earth, as long as they have Facebook. Like that's, think about that deeper than we actually think about it, and it's one of the coolest things you can think of. And when it gets to the point where we're just like, oh, I'm just going on Facebook, and it's just like, oh,
Like
wow,
right now?
like that's
And you
when
don't
that's the
realize
point
it.
when you know like you're not really in control of
Yeah.
your beliefs on the
If
site.
someone's in like Africa on vacation, and you're chatting with them.
Mhm.
It like, and you don't realize like how special this is. Like it's never really been done before Facebook, like maybe MySpace or something. But yeah, I think I agree with you. Like when you get to a point where you don't think it's some cool thing anymore, you're just like it's just like the day-to-day routine. I think that's where it starts.
Okay, so
Gabe, so for Randy.
I think that this is a big thing, is that it makes Violet different, and like that it doesn't fully control her, and that she's able to like think about the other world, I guess, is because, okay, think about this. If you got a Facebook when you were in like 6th or 7th grade, and you had it until you were like, I don't know, maybe we'll have our Facebooks for the rest of our lives, that's different than someone getting Facebook as an adult. You know, like she got it as an adult compared to these kids who had it in their brains when they were born. So then these,
Not as adults, not when she was
I have a
7.
question.
okay.
Why do you guys like refer to technology like what? Isn't there more to technology than just Facebook? Is Facebook the only thing that?
Yeah, but I would at this point in like the 21st century, I would consider Facebook our biggest technology right now.
Yeah.
It sounds like your assumption is that the closest thing that we have to a feed, or if we do have a feed, is
Exactly.
Facebook.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm
Yeah,
just comparing the feed to the
okay.
Facebook. Yeah.
like
Like,
not
there's
text controls.
internet,
The
but
Facebook.
I think it's more like search engines, like there's like Facebook stuff. I don't know. I just think that's
true.
Who
that's like
controls
the
the
big
feed?
part.
Well, I mean, isn't that who controls technology?
Yeah. Well, like
No
in
one.
this, like we don't,
I believe no one.
who
does.
controls the feed? Like, what if there's like one? This could really hurt these people. Like, I mean, if there's like one supercomputer mind that controls all the feeds, like what if that shut down and killed a bunch of people?
That's
Can I
what I
say
wrote about my reading journal.
Can I ask something? Didn't he say though that the feeds are controlled by these big corporations? Like it's not just one computer mind. It's like
yeah.
all these really mega conglomerate companies.
What? And you're putting your life in their hands almost. Like these people.
Well, if you
don't
think
know.
the feed control it.
Well, that's why I think the feed is like Facebook as well, because you are putting your lives out there for everyone to see, everyone to look at you, to research you, to see what you think, what you say, what you're doing. You know, you are putting like your life in their hands.
So like, is the companies that create the feed like today's banks in a sense? I don't know. 'Cause I mean, think about it. Like those right now are like those are right now like the major companies. Like Facebook's like one company, but the banks right now are the major companies that we put all our money, all of our like savings, and that's our future. Like if you think about it, it's sad to say, but money is our future. That's what we need to like continue, going. I mean, if you don't have money, like where are you gonna keep going if you like can't keep progressing in life? You got that. Oh my God.
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't get like how does the banks have to relate to?
Because like in the book, the feeds like are like controlling, or like where you like they control your life.
What else do corporations run in the book?
School.
Oh, government?
School.
Or
School
and clouds.
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 Trademark.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
get
wait,
that.
didn't they
That was-
have like their own environment? Like they have like a sphere they live in?
Yeah.
and
their
like
own personal
oxygen,
biosphere.
like
Oxygen
air
bubbles.
makers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said the sky was peeling
Yeah.
in
Oh, and
like,
they have more than one sun. They have like all these different
Yeah,
suns
yeah, they
too.
each have their own little Earth.
sky is peeling.
Yeah, and they don't have any
Think about it.
streets
People.
too. Because he was like,
Yeah, they
like
fly.
wow, that's people actually walk on the
Yeah, they have like hover
Yeah.
Like real streets that people used to walk on.
And then that gets into what was the question we were gonna ask before? It was like, how does the movie relate? It's kind of asking like, how do corporations control us, control politics, control everything?
I think the movie is an example of how people control technology.
Like how they.
Well, no,
how
they
can
use it
actually-
Like and what can happen?
Yeah,
But I
how they
think
can
it's also-
influence us. Like, because they created a war with just like they
Upsell
turned like
money.
one rumor and they got a producer and all this technology to back them up, and I like the press kind of was a way to get it all out there and to influence, like, because we trust the press as
Yeah.
a resource to get information.
That's why it's good to like not only watch like one like news thing or only read one
thing.
paper.
And I think that movie, it was not only an example of how we as humans control politics and control technology and stuff, but it's also how it controls us, because if you think about it, yeah, the big corporations up there, they completely controlled it, but then if you think about people like us and people who watch the news and people who read the news, and it's also controlling us, because since we do, well, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but like it completely like formed our ideas and what we thought about everything, and it created all these rumors that we thought they were true. I don't know.
So
Well,
I want to clarify one thing here, because I hear you guys sort of touching upon this. It's okay. But just based on the last few comments, not just Georgie's, there is a distinction here between, when we ask, does technology control us or do we control technology? This is not asking you to choose between like a Terminator scenario and not, in terms of it being us versus the machines, right? Like technology is out of control and computers are going to take over the world and kill us off, right? Like sure, that's one scenario that you might cook up. But when we talk about, the key to the question is, who is us? We say technology controls us. Because us could be the general population being controlled by a very small minority, or a corporation, or a president, or whatever, using the technology against us being, say, the people in this classroom, right? So it's not, I think, you ask people, well, is the Terminator scenario where machines take over the world and start killing us possible? Some people say, yeah, but I think a livelier debate is, to what extent are we able to use technology to make our lives better, to make democracy stronger? One of the articles that I'll give you sometime in the next week or two there's all this press out there about Twitter and social networks and just blogs and little phone videos helping get the word out about what's going on in the streets, whether it's Occupy Oakland or the Arab Spring in the Middle East. But also there's some lower profile stories where the government's actually using social networks to track down protesters and actually find people and imprison them and kill them. So the internet can be a way for you to disseminate information, but it can also be a way for those in power to keep an eye on you and to track you down and to control you.
In China.
So that was a really key question with Wag the Dog was, is the internet this game changer where no longer do we just sit there passively and accept what's given to us on television. We have a way to broadcast our own ideas, our own footage of what's happening today. There's probably a lot going on in Oakland as we speak right now. The police were going to clear out the camps again today. There might be a lot of violence on the news tonight. But not just accepting what the TV tells us, but actually being able to put our own information out there. However, there is this question of, will those in power always be able to take advantage of the newest technologies in order to consolidate power, or is there something fundamentally democratizing about the internet, in that it is this two-way street? That's a lot, but remember here that technology controlling us, that's not necessarily like evil robots controlling us. It could be a very small group of people in power controlling us. Okay, back to you guys.
We're also supposed to be able to filter what we take in, but in this sense, like when they're talking about controlling schools, these people are being kind of force-fed like all this information that they probably wouldn't willingly wish to take in because
like what?
It's not what they believe. Like
he says it. Like page 110 talks about what he learns in school.
Oh yeah, like how to decorate his room and stuff.
Yeah.
How to use the feed.
How to use the feed.
It's like
Yes.
finishing school.
Find bargains.
How to shop. Imagine being taught how to shop.
Oh my god, that would be the best class ever.
You guys have a reading class.
In the short term, that could be fun. Imagine if that were the core curriculum, though. That might get a little dreary.
If it was the core curriculum, but that would be a fun class. Just like AP shopping, that would be so fun.
That's like home ec. Do people still teach home ec? Or,
Skills for living.
what's it? Something. Wait.
It's like sewing and cooking.
All right, Fishbowl, grab control.
There's
Sorry.
a class at 10 that's like home.
Actually, here's what I want to do since we have 10 minutes.
Independent living.
Yeah, that's.
Independent
I'm gonna
living.
take that.
Independent living. That's right. Raise your hand if you feel the burning urge to go up here, or else I'll just pick people. You had your hand up. No.
I just wanted to say something.
Well, if you want to say something, what better way than getting up in the fishbowl?
Yeah, man, come on, step right
All right,
James?
let's have Max, Annie, Ryan, and Georgie step down. Cody, James, Hannah, Natalie,
Stein,
Get up,
get up here.
go on up.